Biggest festival of democracy is here. The Prime Minister has just taken to the social media and he says that the EC has announced the 2024 Lok Sabha election dates. We, the BJP ND, are fully prepared for elections, he says. We are going to the people on the basis of a track record of good governance and service delivery. And he continues to talk about a lot of other things. Interesting is this bit where he talks of the opposition. He says our opposition is rudderless, issueless. All they can do is abuse us and practice vote bank politics. Tom Varakan, JVC and Tehseen continue to stay with us. And gentlemen, I will come to you in just a moment. I want to get in quickly, Varshini, because we are also talking of Tamil Nadu. All of Tamil Nadu, Varshini, is voting in a single phase. And Tamil Nadu is also a state that is going to be very keenly watched.
Well, Dipti, very true, Dipti, because Tamil Nadu is a very important state when it comes to the opposition-ruled states, and of course the BJP trying it hard to make it into a three-way competition here. And what is important to note at this point of time, Dipti, Tamil Nadu has been announced in the first phase of elections. Therefore, Tamil Nadu will go for polls on 19th of April. And most of the parties, most of the alliances have not, given a final decision yet. The candidate lists have been not announced yet. The constituency division between alliances, even in the India alliance as well as the BJP's alliance that they are working on, as well as the ADMK alliance, has not yet been announced and decided. Therefore, there's so much pending for Tamil Nadu yet. And the Gazette notification is expected to come in a few days, in a couple more days. And every process has to be really sped up at this point of time by these political parties, because of the first phase is going to approach very fast, and candidates finalizing is also a very important thing that these parties have to do. And now, since it's always been a two-way competition for the state of Tamil Nadu, now it is broadened and a three-way competition is expected. Therefore, there is going to be more and more work to be done by these parties. There are still alliance talks happening between AIADMK and some of the parties like DMDK, PMK, and BJP is also talking to the PMK party.
परिणाम जानते हैं, इसलिए कतरा रहे हैं, लड़ी नहीं रहे, हार देख के भाग रहे हैं। अब जब सेनापति नहीं मिल रही तो सेना का हश्र क्या होगा?
अभी फिलहाल जाति के मुद्दों को लेकर के विधानसभा चुनाव भी लड़ा था। 160 के ऊपर सीटें आप जीते हैं, वोट शेयर भी बहुत बढ़ा है। लोकसभा में भी वो लगातार इसी मुद्दे को और इनकैश कराने के प्रयास में है। आपको लगता है कि मध्य प्रदेश में और देश में ये मुद्दा, खासतौर पर जातिगत जनगणना का, कोई असर डालेगा?
देखिए, परिवारवादी जातिवादी राजनीति देश की जनता नहीं चाहती। प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा है 4 जातियां, गरीब, किसान, युवा और महिलाएं, वही जातियां हैं। मत बांटो देश को, एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत बनने दो, सबको आगे बढ़ने दो। वोट बैंक के लालच में हम काय को देश को ऐसे खंड खंड करने की कोशिश करें? जनता ये पसंद नहीं करते।
छिंदवाड़ा को लेकर कोई विशेष रणनीति?
हम छिंदवाड़ा जीतेंगे, जीतना बहुत आसान है। जो सब जगह की रणनीति है वही छिंदवाड़ा की रणनीति है। और आप देख लीजिए, छिंदवाड़ा सहित सभी 29 सीटें भारतीय जनता पार्टी जीतेगी।
इस बार 370 का टारगेट है बीजेपी का, 400 पार करने का एनडीए का। कितना आसान लगता है आपको ये टारगेट पूरा करना?
जनता का प्रेम, श्रद्धा और विश्वास देख के ये बिल्कुल आसानी से संभव होने वाला टारगेट है जो हम प्राप्त करेंगे।
बात करने के लिए तो पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री शिवराज सिंह चौहान हमसे बात कर रहे थे और पूरी तरह से आश्वस्त हैं कि इस बार 400 सीटें एनडीए पार करेगी। कैमरा यशवंत के साथ।
So you just heard the former Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chouhan. He's, remember, going to be fighting that Vidisha seat this time in the Madhya Pradesh battle. And as we were just talking about this tweet that has come in from the Prime Minister, remember, he's talking of the opposition also significantly here, JVC, and he's saying the opposition is directionless, rudderless, issueless. He's reiterating the fact कि ये पूरा देश मोदी का परिवार है. So there is a clear narrative, the clear narrative that he continues to set. Versus, I do not know what happens on the other side. What is your reading, JVC?
See, from 2013 onwards, the moment he was announced as a chief campaigner and then the prime ministerial candidate, till today, Mr. Modi has clearly seized the narrative. He sets the narrative. Either it be Article 370 post the 2019 elections, or after the Balakot incident, the kind of hyper-nationalism, or for that matter, the way the COVID was handled, or for that matter, the Ram Mandir Prana Pratishta happened. Mr. Modi is a master strategist in narrative setting. Unlike the other parties where narrative setting is just based on social media. But what Mr. Modi does is he promises something, he delivers that, and once he delivers, it becomes a narrative. And that is what he has mastered. And against Mr. Modi, in the last 11 years, because I'm starting from 2013, Congress party and the other regional parties have completely failed to read this narrative angle of Shri Narendra Modi, and has only failed. Either it be Chaukidar hai, Chor hai, which was done last time, or this time they don't even have a narrative in terms of talking about Adani, Adani, Adani all the time. I think the opposition is clueless, is rudderless, is leaderless, is agendaless, is visionless, and obviously that is going to make Congress reach its lowest ever tally in the history of elections in India.
You are saying the Congress JVC is going to go down to its lowest. Then the fight is for the LOP position. Will the Congress be even getting that LOP position? Before I get in, Tom, quickly to Tehseen. Tehseen, the Prime Minister says, I derive great strength from people's blessings, especially the poor, of farmers, Yuva Nari Shakti. When they say, Main hu Modi ka parivar, it fills me with joy and makes me work harder to build a Viksit Bharat. He says this is the era to make it happen, and together we will. Yahi samay hai, sahi samay hai.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. At the onset, many congratulations to all our fellow countrymen, to Tom, to JV, to everybody, whatever side of the political divide we may or may not be. This is the ultimate test in a democracy. Almost 97 crore, almost 1 billion Indians will cast their vote. We will decide the future of our country. 7 phases. Not always easy for the Election Commission, which always comes under a lot of pressure. So all the best. As we celebrate this democracy, let's ask some basic questions from the Honorable Prime Minister's tweet. He says, these are my family. He derives a lot of strength. And JV spoke about the COVID management. I was in COVID management on the ground. The union government ran away. I got their sitting MPs oxygen. They ran away. They charged GST on oxygen. I've paid it. GST on oxygen. This was management. When those migrants were going. Today, as of just now, we have a heart attack pandemic in India. Nobody wants to talk about it. Those who have caused the heart attack have donated to the political parties. Therefore, there's no investigation on it. There's a cancer pandemic in North India. Every third person, fourth person is getting cancer. The government doesn't want to talk about it. This is how family is treated. Those 2 wrestler girls, you agree or disagree with them? The Prime Minister said, you are my family. He called those girls his family. The MP who molested them, who pinched them inappropriately for asking for protein powder. I'm not saying he's part of the Prime Minister or BJP's family. He continues to be a BJP MP. The Delhi police said he should be behind bars. Is that how family is treated? You have to ask these questions to the Prime Minister. And I want to make one point. This is everyone, JV said, the BJP is in pole position. Of course. Look at the funding it's got. It's got funding from shell companies. It's got funding from companies whose turnover was, who's funded 10 times the amount that their turnover was. In any civilized democracy, that money should have been returned back to the public. Who's talking about it? This SBI chairperson willfully disagrees, does not follow the Chief Justice's instruction. Shouldn't it? Is SBI the government's bank or is it my bank? How dare he does it? He's not even, so far nothing's happened. Has the finance ministry spoken about him? Why is he not stepped down so far?
But Tehseen, all these issues are valid. As a countryman, I also want an opposition that will be taking up our issues. Before I get Tom to respond to this, on your screens, ladies and gentlemen, we are giving you a comparison of 2019 and the big battle of 2024. If you see on the left of your screens there, 2019 Lok Sabha Phase 1 that was held, covered 20 states and union territories. The Phase 1 this time will also be covering 21 constituencies. There are 91 parliamentary constituencies that we are talking about in Phase 1. Remember, the dates are different. They go on the top of your screens there, starting from the 19th. And the big counting day, remember, continues to be June the 4th. And we are looking at the Phase 1, Phase 2, and we will keep, putting in more information on the screens just in case you want to find out when is your part of the country voting. When is your state voting? Madhav also joins us. Tom, before I come to you, please allow me a moment. I want to get in Madhav. He's Right now joining us, I think, from the Vigyan Bhavan, and he was there during this entire press conference. Madhav, a lot of questions are being raised, particularly about Jammu and Kashmir. You know, we were speaking earlier to Farooq Abdullah Saab, and he said, I feel sad. You are alienating the people of Jammu and Kashmir if you do not allow for simultaneous elections.
Well, Deepthi, that pointed question was asked to Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar at the press conference where he announced the schedule just about an hour back. And, the answer of the Election Commission was in two phases. Firstly, he said that the legal framework or the legal architecture following the J&K Reorganization Act and the delimitation, which once again changed the constituencies, all of those discrepancies were resolved only with the J&K Reorganization Amendment Act, which was passed in the winter session of Parliament. And that just happened about 3 months ago. So those were as far as the legal framework is concerned. But also saying that when the Election Commission visited Jammu and Kashmir earlier this week, remember J&K was the last of the 11 states that the Election Commission visited on ground to understand what the feedback was of all the stakeholders, including political parties as well as administration. The Chief Election Commissioner was very specific in his response. He said whoever in the administration we spoke to unequivocally told us do not hold both elections simultaneously, because there is a requirement in Jammu and Kashmir that every candidate has to be provided at least 2 sections of force, and that is something that is a mandatory requirement. And given that there would be at least 10 to 12 candidates per assembly constituency, the total number of constituencies being 90, this would lead to a force requirement which would be far more than would be allowed or perhaps permissible for being put on candidate protection duty, and therefore they have required that this happen at a later stage. The Election Commission has specifically said that we are committed to ensuring that there is an elected government there, and will revisit this particular issue. We will be revisiting this particular issue once the Lok Sabha polls are completed. But the very specific point being made there by CEC Rajiv Kumar is that it is because the response that came in from the administration that they have decided to actually go ahead and decide that Jammu and Kashmir polls will not happen simultaneously with the Lok Sabha election. So 4 other states where assembly elections are being held at the moment, along with Lok Sabha polls, and very interestingly, unlike 23rd May of the 2019 Lok Sabha election, is going to be the 4th of June. That's going to be the decider as far as the counting day is concerned, and that's when we'll know which political party has actually won this particular Lok Sabha poll.
All right, Madhav, they're clearing the air and getting us a lot of insight into what made the Election Commission take that decision. But Tom, before we head into a break, why don't you respond to what Tehseen initially actually said also, because Tehseen has spoken, but Tom could not counter him. So we'll get in Tom here. And also the issue of the electoral bonds. Do you believe that's got to be a poll issue? Tom?
Well, no harm if it becomes a narrative. And we want it to be a narrative. So let the nation know who really got the benefit and who has been doing the cover-up operations of receiving black money over the years. There's no accounting. The objective of the bond was to bring out transparency. And today, when you declare, the party declares it, the kind of income is received, it is transparent. And then you would know how much each of this party will raise. But believe me, they will not bring this issue. Because
all
when
right,
the facts
Tom saying,
come out,
bring it on, Tehseen. He says, we are not scared, and doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani.